We took a bunch of capital from Shamrock in April. A bunch of the new innovators in this space have also taken large sums of capital because it's hard. This is a complex industry. You need lots of different data sets, and you need world-class engineering, data science, media analysts to be able to look at this data, find that signal among very noisy consumer behaviors, and then be able to present it to brands and to media companies and make sure that they know what's working and how they can optimize and maximize their performance. Andy, we at EDO are thrilled to be going to Orlando for the ANA Masters of Marketing. This is a big moment for us and a big moment for the industry. Why we care so much about being in Orlando is because it is full of the senior most marketing leaders in the country, and those marketing leaders are facing absolutely immense pressure to, on the one hand, drive their businesses forward, on the other hand, to be as accountable and as cost conscious as possible. And when you're in the boardroom, surrounded by your CEO, your CFO, and all your board members, and you have to justify the investment decisions you've made, your plans going forward, and how you're getting every last ounce of performance out of the dollars in your budget, you need to have investment grade data at your fingertips. It needs to be real time, and it needs to be as granular as the levers you're pulling, whether it's audience targeting, whether it's media investments, whether it's creative decisions. And EDO uniquely focuses on all of those things with full competitive context, so that you as a marketer know where you stand at any given time. You know what's working and how to get the most out of every dollar. It's the performance maximizers as CMOs who are our sweet spot as clients. We love them and they love us. And in this kind of environment where we're facing a potential recession, where you've got changing consumer habits, a dynamic world, you need data now to know what's working, and that's what we're focused on delivering. From day one, EDO's mission has been to help creative people, whether they're making great content or advertising on great content and creating great ads. And for us, what we found is that creative is the heaviest lever you can pull. It's the most significant thing that contributes to your overall performance. And you're right, it's been overlooked because of the challenges of how we measure TV. When you're simply thinking about a large audience and counting the demographics, creative becomes a secondary issue. But when you start to look at what's driving real value, what is the performance levers that you can pull to get more engagement from your customers every time they see one of your ads, creative is really strongly correlated with your eventual performance. And so what we see is that for different industries, different creative choices matter a ton. And the timing, the time of day, the day of week, the time of season, and who you're sitting in a competitive context with, all of those things matter. So there is no single cookie cutter approach to great creative, but great creative ideas create very strong scores in EDO's data. That ability to lift consumers to take an action in the moment, it is so powerful because the 21st century consumer is absolutely empowered to take action, and they are not, in this traditional sense, sitting there and waiting for a survey to come to ask them how did that ad do in changing their behavior or changing their hearts and minds. It's about the here and now, and that consumer is going to take action immediately when they see a compelling creative. And when they see a creative that they don't like or that doesn't move them, they move on. And that's attention, that's engagement, and that's what EDO is capturing.
And Kevin, you've been on the publisher side for many years,
yeah.
Of course, in your previous roles. What about the imperative to have performance metrics on the sell side, and how do you help publishers with that?
It's essential. As publishers, as the creators of this great content that we all love to watch, you need the right measurement to show the real value of what you're creating. In this fragmented media landscape, audiences are finding the content that they love wherever and whenever they want it. So the size of audience is no longer the primary way of indicating value. You've got to look at what drives the consumer to take the actions that lead to growth in your business, because that fundamentally is what advertisers are willing to pay for, and that's what we at EDO are measuring.